All right, so I'm here with Coach Liz today, and we are going to dive into some stuff that's we're kind of making ourselves vulnerable here. So we as trainers sometimes are perceived as either living a lifestyle that is of optimal health or having success in everything we do that's related to exercise, right? And that's far from the truth. So we may do this for a living, and we help others with strategy, have an understanding of physiology, but we run into our roadblocks all the time too. A lot of times you don't see what we're struggling with, or we're not vocal about it. And today we're just going to open up a little bit, because I think some of you might be able to relate to some things that we're working through or have gone through, and understand that perspective sometimes limits us. So we want to step back a little bit and look at some of these roadblocks or limitations that we've had and how we're using a different strategy to get around them. And hopefully that'll either motivate you or give you some thoughts or ideas about how you might be getting hung up with some of your health concerns. And the topic we're really talking about today is running. So we both, well, I don't want to speak for you. I enjoy running.
I do as well, yeah.
Running's not fun when it hurts. Running's not fun when you're struggling with lack of improvement, or you're going backwards, or you're not recovering well. And there are many things that cause running to turn into a chore versus a hobby. And a lot of people one day just kind of hang up the laces, right? And they don't run anymore because they either are bored, they're tired of it, it hurts, they've had a series of injuries, and they're missing out on a mode of exercise that is arguably like one of the top 3 things you can do out there.
So beneficial.
Yeah, and we're both either currently or have worked through some stuff. So we're going to dive into that. Like, how can we use different strategies to keep this going even when it's not as fun as it used to be? So you want to dive in and share your story about, over the last year or two, really even back to kind of college sports, where this stemmed from. What kind of roadblocks have you experienced lately, and what's going on with you?
Yeah, so I was a college lacrosse player. So I was 0 to 60. I was sprinting, never really a whole bunch of like steady state or long endurance running. So when I kind of finished lacrosse, I still kind of had that mentality of go fast. If I'm out for a run, I've got to go as fast as I can. And I found that I was either burning myself out, running myself into the ground, and injuring myself because I either didn't recover enough or I didn't fuel enough. So I was just dealing with injury over injury and just beating my head against the wall because I couldn't figure out why I wasn't improving, because I was running every day or running a couple times a week. So it wasn't really until I found how to slow things down. The phrase that I love is got to slow down to speed up. Build your aerobic base, build that motor. So that way, when I do go out on a long run, or I do want to go into a threshold or an endurance, like a longer run, I've got the motor, I've got the legs to do that, and I'm not injuring myself in the process. So that's kind of been my story for the last, I'll say, since college. So don't want to date myself. Almost a little over, I'll say over 5 years.
Yeah, there you go. So how many times do you feel like you've gotten to the point where you're feeling good, you're getting to a place where maybe you want to do a race, or you just want to have a pain-free run and have some success in changing numbers or whatever it is, and you've hit a wall, physically or maybe mentally dealing with chronic aches and pains? Like, how many? It's not once, from what you share with me. Like, this has been ongoing.
No, I'll say definitely the last 2 or 3 years. I wanted to do a Hyrox race, which I've really found a love for. I guess that was about 2 years ago, and I was like, I'm gung-ho for it. I was training. I was pretty consistent with strength training, and then my running was the crutch. And I got to the point where I was like, I can't run. I couldn't even run a block with my hamstrings. I injured my hamstring in college, and just still was lingering again years after college. So I really worked with physical therapists, worked with doing my own mobility work, strength training on my own, and really rehabbed, I'll say, to get things kind of back to normal. And it's it's been a long process. Nothing happens overnight, and I've had to have a lot of patience with it, and I think the wheels are now starting to roll in my favor, which has been good. But it's been a long process. So if you ever get discouraged, you're either in your own running journey or just starting out, like, know that it will take time to build up.
Yeah. Now talk us through, as you're going through this. So like, you're a former college athlete, you're a competitive person, right? I see you working out, you get after it, right? So you've got some mental toughness and some resiliency, or we wouldn't be having this conversation now. So for a lot of people that maybe don't have that passion to find an answer, to get through it, we were talking the other day, if you don't mind me sharing, and yes, the physical stuff is hard to work through when you're not comfortable and you're dealing with injuries. The mental piece can sometimes be harder, right? So like, what was this doing to your, confidence as an athlete, or, fear of failure with these races that you're signing up for, when you either weren't feeling good physically or you were a little dejected about, man, I'm kind of late to the game to train for this thing and I don't want to let myself down, or maybe even kind of the pressure, and sorry to call you out here, but I'll do it with myself too. We're kind of on stage when we go do an event because all of our clients are watching. And if we fail, we feel like we fail them.
Oh, yeah.
Because we should be invincible, right? Which is not the truth, but that's the way we feel.
Right.
So talk to me and maybe help some others with, like, what did you do from the mental perspective for some tools on your own to help you, get some positivity or get over the adversity that you were experiencing?
I really focused on visualization. I took a class in college, and I remember it to this day. I took it during lacrosse season, and it was a sports psychology class, and my professor spoke about visualization. So in my runs or in my high rocks training or going through the races, like, I would visualize myself either hitting a time that I wanted or completing the race, and just kind of inserting myself into the event and seeing that positive event happen. And so whenever I would go into the event or into the run, I felt like it's already happened.
Love that. Yeah.
So that has really stuck by me. Even when I was on my down days, struggling to get out the door for a run or even go through a workout. I would just visualize, like, okay, I'm in that workout, or I'm in the run, and
because the feeling that you get when the race is over, and how good you feel about yourself and your accomplishment, right? And how hard you worked, and that dopamine hit that you really get after, right? But if you don't remember that, or you don't know of that, that's tough on the day-to-day, routine maintenance runs that you have to do. Well, the other big thing that you did, maybe not along the way, but a year ago, you became certified as a running coach. So you learned a ton of content, even though you've been a very high level athlete and you've been working out, all the time. You kind of called yourself out there with maybe too hard all the time. So you learned a lot about balance of running programs and how it doesn't always need to be a record setting day. It doesn't always need to be a PR. And there are a lot of other pieces for running that, how much did that come into play with your own running programming?
Yeah, it was huge. It was a whole new, I feel like my run game is just transformed, because I thought it was just one speed all the time.
That's awesome.
And utilizing each different speed for each different day, or for the overarching picture, the overarching goal, just kind of puts everything together, and it allows your body to recover properly.
We're only adapting when we recover, right? And if we just constantly hit the stimulus button every day, you never have a chance to actually get better.
Right.
And I think you nailed it earlier when you said patience. Like, that is the word. And how many times do people like you and I that are, current still competitive athletes, I would like to call ourselves that.
Oh yeah, we're definitely athletes.
We were wired in a way where you want to go all the time, every day. And when you can't, that's depressing and frustrating, but you don't want to acknowledge it. You just want to go. And then you just get deeper in the well. So let's flip a little bit. I'm going to be selfish. We'll flip to me. So mine are kind of similar, right, in a way. So mine are physical, And obviously there's always a mental component that comes with it, but not to get deep in it, but way back in 2015, I was doing probably the most running that I probably ever have. I was a couple years post ACL surgery. I was getting into a lot of road running, nothing crazy, but 5Ks and 10Ks and Annapolis 10 miler, that kind of stuff. And I was feeling good, setting PRs. And all of a sudden I started to get this foot pain. And, was trying to fix it with everything I knew how to do. Saw some PTs, saw an ortho, and it just got worse and worse and worse to the point where I couldn't walk in the morning. Finally got a diagnosis, and I ruptured a ligament in my foot. So my midfoot joints are very unstable, and they get out of whack a lot, and it creates a lot of tension up my leg. Anyway, when that all happened, I had to figure out another mode. So everything that you talked about, right, from being frustrated, being depressed about it, not being able to perform, here I am training clients for injury prevention, and I'm the one that's hurt. It's like, come on, this isn't looking good for business.
Not setting
either,
a good
right?
example here.
So my running coach at the time, shout out to Carrie Robbins, she hammered me to get on the elliptical, get on the stationary bike. And at the time, like, that was not an option. I'm like, I haven't been on bikes since I was in high school. So boring. I think I took like 2 certification tests on a spin bike. I spent so much time on it for 6 months. Anyway, got a little better, but big story is over the last, 6-7 years, I've gone on and off of running. I'll be, comfortable if I can modify program design like you were talking about. My body can only put up with so much. I can't do the mileage I used to be able to do. I can't tolerate back-to-back running days. I haven't run back-to-back in 7 years. And if I do, I can't walk for a couple days. If I really light myself up, I might be off for 2 months. So I did pick up biking and the love for biking, especially mountain biking, but that's another story. But the concept that I want to share is that when you feel like something has been taken from you, if it's an orthopedic concern, there's always a way to work around it. And I'm now, I want to do High Rocks with you in March. Did it last year. Yeah, and it was awesome and so much fun. We have a lot of people here that are doing it. Running's a big component, right? And
half of it, yeah.
I went into it last year without a lot of running, right? I was kind of doing as much as I could on the bike, but the concept is you do what you can and you manage your body, but you can get really creative. And I've been running now for probably two months, relatively consistently, 2 to 3 days a week, and I'm not doing a lot of mileage. I'm spacing them out, so I'm recovering well, and I'm doing all of my runs easy. There isn't a run I do that's difficult right now. I'm just merging it in at a rate that my body can handle instead of the old Ryan that would have just came right out and, ran 10 miles, been hurt, and then been done for 6 months. And I do all of my intense work on other modes. So, I do it on biking, I do it with the Airdyne, I do it with strength training. So I'm getting those other means in a mode that works for me. And then I'm easing in the running in hopes of transitioning, to more running in the next month or two. And then I can do my intensity with running and my easy stuff on another mode because I can't do it all running.
Yeah.
So just trying to make a flexible program that works for me. And that's like the behind the scenes stuff that we do as trainers, as coaches, that a lot of people don't know. They think, well, I can't run anymore because it hurts. Well,
what can you do still?
Totally.
Can
we modify it? Can we work around it?
Get on a rower?
Totally.
Low
and it's
impact.
the art of coaching. It's the behind the scenes stuff that we do to manage these variables, to still get people to make big adaptations physically, whether it's muscular or physiological. You can get them in multiple modes and they do cross over. So concept of my story is don't quit on it. Don't walk away. It's frustrating, right? My ego's not off the charts with running right now, but I know I have hope to get better here and I've got a plan and I'm sticking to it. And that's what Coach Liz and I can do for you too, if anybody's interested or this speaks to you.
If you are looking to get back into running or you're on the fence about it, start small, start slow, and then week over week, day to day, build from that. And then, I guess moving forward, looking to do High Rocks as well, early 2025, and hopefully get a couple of races, High Rocks races on the calendar for, early next year. But just taking the rest of this year to build back up, build strength, get stronger.
I love that.
Clean up.
Because you can only be great once or twice a year, and a lot of people just try to stay high all year,
Yeah.
right? Because they never take time to train. They wind
Right.
up never getting better.
Yeah.
So it's that manipulating. Love that long-term projection.
Yep.
Patience, right? Patience is the key
Patience
word.
is key. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Coach. I appreciate the insight
Thank
on
you.
that, and,
Yeah.
and hopefully our viewers find that helpful. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.
See ya.